Meghan Markle didn't need a press release. She didn't need a sit-down interview. She didn't need a carefully staged photo op. All it took was one quiet Instagram story, a single image. Prince Harry on horseback, snow-dusted Aspen mountains behind him, and 4 understated words that spoke volumes. "Oh, hello there." That was it. No grand announcement, no defensive explanation, no engagement with the usual media noise. And yet that brief reaction managed to say more about the Sussexes' current reality than weeks of royal commentary ever could. Because what unfolded at the St. Regis World Snow Polo Championship in Aspen on December 17th wasn't just a surprise sporting appearance. It was a snapshot of how Prince Harry and Meghan Markle now move through the world on their own terms, in their own time, without permission from the British press or palace courtiers. And the reaction to it? Predictable, revealing, telling. So today, we're unpacking exactly why this moment mattered, why Meghan's reaction was more strategic than critics want to admit, and why Prince Harry casually stepping onto a snow polo field sent certain corners of the media into quiet discomfort. Let's begin where the headlines didn't. Prince Harry didn't arrive in Aspen with an entourage of aides, royal photographers or palace handlers. There was no official royal diary entry, no balcony appearance, no carefully coordinated press call. Instead, according to a spokesperson for the Duke of Sussex, Harry was doing something refreshingly normal. He was standing in for a friend. That friend? Nacho Figueras. Not just a polo player, but a long-time confidant, a former professional athlete and one of the Sussexes' most consistent allies over the past decade. Harry joined the Aspen Valley team, while Nacho played for the St. Regis team alongside his sons, Artemo and Hilario. This wasn't a publicity stunt. This wasn't a comeback tour. This was sport, friendship and community, something Harry has always gravitated toward, long before royal narratives attempted to recast him as reckless or directionless. And yet, within hours, the coverage shifted. Because when Prince Harry appears anywhere outside the UK, especially confidently, comfortably and visibly unbothered, disrupts a very specific storyline. The one that insists he's lost without royal life. The one that frames him as diminished without palace privilege. The one that requires him to look regretful, isolated or struggling. Aspen didn't offer that image. Aspen offered something else entirely. Let's talk about Meghan's response, because that's where the real subtext lives. Meghan Markle did not attend the event. She stayed home in Montecito with Prince Archie, 6, and Princess Lilibet, 4, as the family prepares for Christmas. This alone matters. Because for years critics have accused Meghan of either clinging to Harry publicly or hiding behind the scenes, depending on what suits the narrative of the week. But this moment shattered both claims. She didn't need to be there physically to be present emotionally. She didn't need to pose courtside or hand out trophies. She didn't need to prove unity through spectacle. Instead, she acknowledged Harry's appearance exactly how millions of modern couples do, through a casual, affectionate, social media post. "Oh, hello there." 4 words that say, "I see you, I support you, I'm not threatened, and I don't need to perform this for anyone." That's confidence. And confidence, especially from Meghan Markle, has always unsettled her critics more than any supposed misstep ever could. Now, let's examine what the media chose to focus on, and what they didn't. Most outlets framed the appearance as unexpected. Some emphasized that Harry was standing in for a friend, as if to minimize his presence. Others quietly noted Meghan's absence, attempting to suggest distance where there was none. But here's what didn't dominate headlines. That Harry has played polo consistently for years, that he has deep ties to Aspen's polo community, that he and Nacho Figueras have competed together there before, including at the Centebale Polo Cup in August 2022. That polo has long been one of Harry's charitable tools, not just a sport but a platform. Or that Harry competing casually in Aspen is actually continuity, not deviation. This wasn't a departure from who he is. It was proof he's still exactly who he's always been, just without the palace filter. The St. Regis World Snow Polo Championship itself is not a small, obscure gathering. It draws high-profile guests, philanthropists, celebrities and athletes. Past attendees have included Anna Kendrick, Nicky Hilton, Billy Lord and Riley Keough. It's an event that blends sport, luxury, charity and social influence. In other words, it's exactly the kind of environment Harry has navigated comfortably his entire adult life. The difference now? He doesn't have to pretend it's work mandated by the Crown. He can simply show up because he wants to. And that freedom is what many critics cannot stand. Let's rewind for a moment. Before 2020, before stepping back from royal duties, Prince Harry regularly played polo for charity, sometimes even against his brother, Prince William. These matches were framed as light-hearted, symbolic moments of royal unity. But after Harry and Meghan left the institution, the same activity suddenly became attention-seeking, performative, brand-building. The behaviour didn't change. The framing did. And Aspen exposed that double standard yet again. Because if Prince William were photographed on horseback at a private polo event, it would be called tradition. If King Charles attends a countryside sporting engagement, it's heritage. But when Harry does it, casually, quietly, without press orchestration, it's scrutinised. That discrepancy tells us everything we need to know. Now let's talk about the absence of Netflix cameras, because this is important. Last year, Harry rode at the Royal Salute Polo Challenge in Florida, with Meghan supporting him, and Netflix cameras captured content for their documentary series Polo, which premiered in 2024. That event was openly filmed, openly produced, openly acknowledged as part of a project. Aspen was not. There were no announcements about filming, no visible production crews, no promo tie-ins. And yet critics rushed to assume motive anyway. Why? Because they've conditioned audiences to believe Harry and Meghan are incapable of simply living their lives without ulterior branding goals. Aspen contradicted that assumption, and that contradiction made people uncomfortable. What's particularly revealing is how Meghan's reaction was framed, or rather minimised. Her Instagram story wasn't dissected for tone or intent in the same obsessive way her actions once were. Why? Because it didn't offer critics much to work with. There was no outfit to critique, no body language to misinterpret, no facial expression to freeze frame, just warmth, just humour, just affection. And when Meghan Markle is allowed to be those things without distortion, the usual outrage cycle collapses. Let's also address the timeline. This appearance happened days before Christmas. Harry flew to Aspen, played polo, and then returned to Montecito. There was no dramatic separation narrative, no holiday alone storyline, no emotional distance implied by action. In fact, reports indicate Meghan stayed home intentionally, prioritising time with Archie and Lilibet as the family prepares to celebrate Christmas together. This isn't absence, it's balance, and balance doesn't fit the tabloid formula. Now, consider the contrast with royal life. Had this been a royal engagement, Meghan would have been expected to attend. to smile on cue, to dress for commentary, to represent the firm. But post-royal life offers something different. Choice. Harry could go alone, Meghan could stay home. And neither choice needed justification. That's autonomy. And autonomy is precisely what the Sussexes fought for. Let's talk about Nacho Figueras for a moment, because his presence matters more than headlines admit. Nacho is not a fleeting celebrity friend. He's been part of Harry's life for years. He stood by Harry publicly during some of the most hostile periods of media scrutiny. He has defended Meghan openly. Playing alongside Nacho's sons in Aspen wasn't just sport, it was continuity, family and chosen community. Something Harry has spoken about repeatedly. The importance of building family beyond bloodlines when institutions fail you. That's not scandal, that's healing. The silence from certain UK outlets was just as loud as the coverage elsewhere. Some barely acknowledged the appearance. Others ran short, neutral pieces without commentary. Why? Because there was no controversy to exploit, no misstep, no awkward moment, no narrative hook, just a man playing polo. And that reality undermines years of constructed outrage. Now let's zoom out. This wasn't about polo. It was about visibility without vulnerability. Prince Harry was seen but not exposed. Meghan was present but not performative. The family remained intact but not on display. This is the Sussexes' current strategy. Selective sharing, intentional visibility, emotional authenticity without overexposure. And it's working. Because moments like Aspen don't spark scandals, they spark curiosity. And curiosity is far more powerful. Meghan's Instagram story wasn't designed to dominate news cycles. It was designed to connect, to acknowledge her husband, to share a private smile with the public, to remind followers that their relationship exists beyond headlines. And in doing so, she reclaimed narrative control yet again. There's a reason the words "oh, hello there" resonated. They were playful, they were intimate, they were unbothered. They suggested familiarity, not spectacle. And that's something Meghan Markle has mastered, the art of understatement. So what does this moment actually tell us? It tells us that Prince Harry doesn't need royal approval to belong in elite spaces. It tells us Meghan doesn't need proximity to power to express confidence. It tells us their marriage doesn't require constant visual proof. And it tells us their critics are running out of angles. Aspen wasn't a comeback, it was continuity. And continuity is far more threatening to false narratives than any dramatic reinvention ever could be. As Christmas approaches in Montecito, with Archie and Lilibet at home, the image that lingers isn't Harry on horseback. It's Meghan's quiet acknowledgement, a reminder that strength doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just says, "Oh, hello there,"